The Switchback LED front turn signal kit is for those of you that have a 2018 and up JL that does not have the factory LED lighting package installed on it, but wants to gain that look. This is going to be a pretty easy installation, but I am going to have to go 2 out of 3 wrenches on it because there's a little bit of wiring to do. As with most modern Jeeps, you have to add a resistor in to trick the system into thinking that there's a regular incandescent bulb. Otherwise, you'll have fast flash, you'll have faults on the dash. We'll show you how to do it in just a second, and it is pretty easy, but again, we're going to step up to 2 out of 3 wrenches for this installation. So as I said, this is really going to give you that LED lighting package look that's on a lot of Saharas, on a lot of Rubicons. Those lights are going to have a running light like you see here, a white running light, which in this case is going to be on when you turn your parking lights on, and then when you turn the turn signal on, with one of those LED lighting package vehicles, the white goes out and the yellow starts flashing, and that's exactly what you're going to get here. Now, I point that out specifically because some of the less advanced switchback LEDs you can find on the market, they'll have the white light on all the time and just add the yellow light over top of that when they are flashing. Other times you'll have them switching from yellow to white when they're in that flashing configuration, in this case when you have a turn signal turned on. These are a little bit more advanced than that, and you're going to get something very much like you would see on one of those LED lighting package Jeeps where the white goes off completely and you get yellow to off when they're flashing and then back to the white on again when the turn signals are turned back off. So a advanced light here and a very high quality light at that. You can really tell when you pick it up and hold it in your hand. It's going to be a 3-sided bulb that has both white and amber LEDs on all 3 sides, and on the tip of the bulb as well you're going to have both amber and white diodes underneath of a projector. And what that projector does is really throw light out in front of the bulb, and you can see that when you look at the Jeep here. Of course, we have the running lights on, the white lights, but they're very, very bright, and some of that comes from having that projector on the end of the bulb. So the additional brightness here is going to give you a little bit more visibility, so making the Jeep look cool, sure, but also adding that functionality of more visibility, and you're also getting a really high quality light. And for all of that, you are going to have to spend a little bit more money. These are going to come in at right around that $70 mark. But again, for the quality, the brightness, for the longevity of these lights, they're not going to burn out, they're going to last a long time, and the fact that they come with those resistors we mentioned and everything you need to get them attached means that even at $70, I think these are a pretty good deal. So like we said, 2 out of 3 wrenches for the install. Let me show you how to do it. For this install, we used a trim removal tool, a small straight blade screwdriver, and a pair of pliers for crimping. So this is going to be a pretty straightforward installation, but we are going to go 2 out of 3 wrenches because there's a little bit of wiring involved. We do have to install some resistors to trick the Jeep into thinking that a regular bulb is in there so that it doesn't fast flash and or throw a code or a light on the dashboard. But all of that's to come. The first step is getting our new bulbs installed, and in order to do that, we just have to remove one plastic clip from the inside of the fender liner here. That will allow us to pull the fender liner back just enough to pull the bulb and the socket out of the turn signal housing. So we have our trim removal tool, and we're going to do that now. We'll get our trim removal tool in behind our plastic clip and get it pried out. With that clip removed, we can pull back our liner just enough to give us access in there and get our bulb and socket out. Reach in, give our socket a 1/4 turn counterclockwise and remove it. As you can see, we have the whole socket out. Now we'll be able to pull the bulb out of the socket and put our new bulb in before installing our resistor on the wiring. Next thing I'm going to do is just take a little bit of this tape off of our factory wiring harness just to give us a little bit more wire to work with when we install those resistors. The last step in the install on this side before we can jump over to the other side and do the same thing is to install this resistor. And the idea behind the resistor is to trick the Jeep into thinking that there is a traditional factory incandescent bulb in this socket instead of the LED bulb. The LED creates a lot less resistance, and therefore the Jeep thinks maybe you have a burnt out bulb. So adding this resistor creates the resistance you need, again, to trick the system so it doesn't give you any sort of hyper flash or any lights on the dashboard. So this is the resistor. It has 2 wires here, and you also get 2 vampire clips in the kit. And the vampire clips are just a really easy way of making a connection from one existing wire to another without having to cut, solder, use any sort of butt connector, anything like that. If you choose to cut and solder things and use heat shrink just because it's a little bit of a cleaner way to make a connection, you're more than welcome to do that. But because this is how it comes in the kit, this is how we'll show you to do the installation. Now the first thing you need to do, which we just did, was determine which one of the white wires is going to be for the high side or the bright side or the turn signal, the flash, because that's the circuit you need to put this on, not the other white wire. The other one is just for the low side, just for your parking lights. That doesn't flash, so you don't need a resistor. So we determined that on this side is the white wire with the green tracer. So what we need to do is connect one end of our resistor to the white wire with the green tracer using one of these vampire clips, and then the other end of the resistor onto the black wire, the ground wire, using the other vampire clip. So we'll get in there and get that done now. So the way these vampire clips work is that you have 2 wire passages. One goes clear through, the other one is blocked off on one end. So the one that goes clear through is the one we want to put over top of our wire. And we're going to start with our power wire. Again, that's the white wire with the green tracer. So all we need to do is slide the vampire clip over top of that wire, like so. And that part is done. Now we need to take our resistor and slide one end of the wire on the resistor into the other wire passage on the vampire clip. And like I said, that's blocked off on the one end, so you can only put the wire in on the one side, and it's only going to go in so far. So you push it all the way in until it hits the stop. You close that door, it'll clip shut. Once we have the door on the vampire clip closed, we'll go back with a pair of pliers and squeeze it tight. That way we make sure that that spade inside the vampire clip bit into both of our wires, and we're going to get a really good solid connection. Now that we're done with that, we just have to do the same thing on the black wire with the other end of the resistor. Put the clip around the end of the black wire, slide our resistor end in there, close the door on the clip, and go back with our pliers and pinch it shut. And that's it. Now we can take our socket, put it back into the back of the turn signal housing, give it a quarter turn clockwise this time to lock it in place. Then we'll need to tuck our resistor up out of the way here. The resistor can get a little bit hot, so you don't want it up against any of the other wiring. And we'll put our splash shield here, our inner fender liner, back in place. And replace the Christmas tree clip that we pulled out. Now we just have to repeat the same process over on the other side. So like I said before, these bulbs are really going to give you that LED lighting package look, at least for the turn signals. It's not going to change any of your other lights, but the turn signals will get a makeover. They're going to have the same white look that LED lighting package would give you when you are in the parking light or the running light configuration. And then when you do turn on the turn signals, the white lights turn off completely and you have that yellow flashing light. As you can see, because of the projector on the end of the bulb that I talked about before, you have a very bright white light and also a very bright yellow light when that yellow light is flashing. And by comparing it with the stock light here, I know we're looking at running light versus parking light here, so different colors, but you can really see the brightness difference. It is going to be very, very dramatic. And of course, the color difference as well, giving you that LED lighting package look and also just making you a little bit more visible by having more white light on the front of the Jeep. So overall, especially when you have it compared side by side, I think this is a clear winner. So if you're looking to add a more modern and updated look to your JL and mirror that LED lighting package just a little bit, I would recommend taking a look at these LEDs, and you can find them right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.